Have you ever heard of a book of stories so powerful it was used to train future kings? Well, today we're diving into one of the oldest and most influential collections of fables in the world, the Panchatantra. Now, forget what you think you know about simple children's tales. This is basically a masterclass in wisdom, strategy, and human nature, all the way from ancient India. So let's see how it all began.
So our story kicks off in the kingdom of Mahilaropia with a powerful and respected ruler, King Amrasakti. I mean, this guy had it all: wealth, power, you name it. But he had this one huge worry, a problem so big that all his riches and influence were completely useless against it.
And you know, the king's problem really boils down to a question that's totally timeless, right? How do you pass on real wisdom, not just, facts and figures, but stuff that actually sticks? And maybe even more important, how do you teach someone who has zero interest in learning in the first place? It's a challenge every teacher, parent, and leader still deals with today.
So let's get into the specifics of this royal dilemma. Because it wasn't just a personal problem for the king, it was something that could threaten the future of his entire kingdom. See, the king had 3 sons, 3 princes who were supposed to be next in line for the throne. The problem? They had absolutely no interest in their studies. They were ignorant, a bit arrogant, and just completely unprepared to rule. The king was genuinely scared for what would happen to his people. The king was getting desperate, so he called together all his wise counselors for a meeting. And out of that meeting came one teacher with a pretty unconventional and brilliant plan. And that teacher was the scholar Vishnu Sharma. He stepped forward and made this incredible promise to the king. He said, "Give me 6 months, and I will make your sons masters of politics and practical wisdom." And his secret? It wasn't going to be boring textbooks or long, drawn-out lectures. Nope, his secret weapon was storytelling. So, to make good on that promise, Vishnu Sharma created this amazing collection of tales, a masterpiece of wisdom and narrative that came to be known as the Panchatantra. And the name itself is a huge clue to what it's all about. Pancha means 5, and Tantra means principles or strategies. So Vishnu Sharma wasn't just telling stories. He was laying out the 5 principles for living a wise life. The real genius of his method was just how simple and brilliant it was. He took these deep, profound lessons about politics, relationships, and strategy and disguised them in these super engaging fables. The main characters weren't stuffy politicians, they were talking lions, clever monkeys, and crafty jackals. Each animal really embodied a certain human trait, which made the lessons instantly relatable and honestly impossible to forget. Yeah, and this was never just for entertainment, and not at all. Every single story was carefully designed. Woven into the adventures of these animals were crystal clear morals about how to navigate the world. How to choose your allies, how to spot an enemy, and why you should always, always think before you act. Okay, so the whole thing is actually structured in a really smart way. It's all built around 5 distinct books, and each one tackles a core principle for living a successful and wise life. A good way to picture it is like a giant tree of wisdom, right? It has 5 main branches, and each one offers a different kind of essential knowledge that's crucial for anyone who hopes to lead. So these 5 branches are basically the core curriculum. The first one, the gaining of friends, is all about how to build strong alliances. The second is kind of its dark mirror, the separation of friends, a cautionary book that shows how easily trust can be shattered by deceit. The third one, of crows and owls, uses a literal war between animals to teach the basics of strategy and diplomacy. And the last 2 books are really focused on personal conduct. One teaches you how to avoid the loss of gains through sheer foolishness, and the last one is a huge warning against ill-considered action, the massive danger of just acting without thinking things through. So here's the million-dollar question, right? Did Vishnu Sharma's incredible experiment in education actually work? Did the unteachable princes finally learn their lesson? Oh, you bet it did. It worked better than anyone could have possibly imagined. Within those 6 months he promised, the princes were completely transformed. Just by listening to these captivating stories, they effortlessly soaked up all these complex ideas about leadership and good judgment. They became wise, they became just, and they became ready to rule. Their transformation was absolute. And that's the key, isn't it? They hadn't just memorized a bunch of rules. They truly understood the why behind them. They learned that the most profound truths aren't the ones that are forced on you, but the ones you absorb through stories that really capture your imagination. And that right there is the enduring legacy of the Panchatantra. It's why we are still talking about it thousands of years later. It's this timeless reminder that a story is so much more than just entertainment. It's one of the most powerful tools we have for teaching, for learning, and for making ideas unforgettable. So maybe the next time you need to teach a lesson, the question isn't just what you should say, but what story you should tell.